I lost my voice yesterday during the live stream watching the Vikings game, yelling at my TV. It's football. It happens. But the Vikings fall. Cincinnati, they pulled off the upset. Big win for them. Final score, Bengals over Vikings, 27-24. Let's start with the good stuff first. Number one, Michael Pierce, very impressive debut for him yesterday. He was fantastic, especially as a pass rusher. He had 2 sacks and 2 TFLs. Nick Vigil is a playmaker. I mean, it feels like, anecdotally speaking, just talking off the top of my head, it feels like, especially in the first half, that damn near every defensive possession, Nick Vigil made a big-time play. Adam Thielen, he's still elite. 9 catches for 92 yards and 2 scores. KJ Osborne, at least for one game anyway, proved to be a very capable, dare I say, maybe even a viable threat as a wide receiver 3, 7 catches for 76 yards. Greg Joseph, perfect kicking day. And Jordan Berry, our new punter, multiple 60-yard punts. And now we get to the shits. The fumble call. Originally, when I saw this play happen in real time during the live stream, I said, kind of looks like he fumbled the ball. But even after they showed the camera angles and the replays, I said, man, the bodies are all in the way. You can't really see. I said, man, this looks like one of those plays where, regardless of what the original call is on the field, that just not enough here to overturn it. So even if Dalvin Cook were to originally have been called down by contact, that not enough here to where if Cincinnati decided we're going to challenge this as a fumble, not enough there to overturn it. But the more I watched it, even after the game ended, I said, you know what? I can kind of see it looks like Dalvin Cook, his butt is down before the ball gets ripped out. Okay, fine. But I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan about that call. You know why? There were several major factors for why the Vikings lost yesterday, starting with the run defense. 149 rushing yards allowed. Joe Mixon by his damn self, 127. The pass defense was Swiss cheese, particularly Bashaud Breeland, who, you got your ankles crossed up so many times in yesterday's game. You gave up the deep pass interference call on a free play. And Jamar Chase, good Lord. This is a dude who had such an awful preseason, but against you, Bashaud Breeland, Jamar Chase looked like the second coming of Megatron. That big-time touchdown that he gave up with, 42 seconds left in the first half, Bashaud Breeland was staring down Joe Burrow the whole time while Jamar Chase was running right by him. By the time Bashaud Breeland turned his head around, it was too late. And the one thing that, oh my God, the bare minimum of standards for Mike Zimmer being a head coach is, all right, yeah, the offense, even though he's a head coach, the offense, special teams is not his fault. As long as the defense looks great, which is basically the job of a defensive coordinator, as long as the defense is great, that's all that matters. Mike Zimmer, he's a great head coach. Well, I'm sorry. In that department, he got outcoached, especially on 4th and inches in overtime for the play action pass, the big time catch and run to essentially seal the game. And Kirk Cousins, it's not his fault that the Vikings lost, but there were too many times where you're throwing behind your receivers or third and manageable downs, you're looking to immediately check down and get off the field. And the penalties, my God, you had 17 total penalties, 12 of which were accepted for 116 yards. You had 10 penalties alone in the first half, four of which were in your first offensive possession. And then we get to the offensive line. 7 penalties called, 5 accepted. Beyond that, the blocking was atrocious, outside of maybe Brian O'Neill, who had a false start in his own right. Oli Udoh literally looked like Dakota Dozier. I saw no difference, no anchor whatsoever. And that unnecessary roughness call was the literal definition of unnecessary. Ezra Cleveland was just as bad as Oli Udoh minus the penalties. Garrett Bradbury, a sack allowed. Rashad Hill, you had 2 holding penalties. When you weren't holding, you weren't blocking. Somehow, some way, as wild as this sounds, as impossible as this sounds, the offensive line so far looks much worse than last year. Think about that. So all of those different factors combined, and I'm supposed to sit here and bitch and moan about one call? I'm not doing that. The Vikings got out-coached. They got outplayed. The Cincinnati Bengals, they made more big plays than the Vikings did. Straight up, it's that simple. But the silver lining is, as crazy as this is, because the NFC North yesterday as a whole went 0-4, because of the point differential, the Vikings are first place in the NFC North division. That is just fantastic. It's a rough start, man. I mean, it's still 16 games left to go in this season, but you got to tighten up. Next video is on Wednesday. We'll see you then.